Hi everyone, how are you? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Doesn't happen to you that when you get to know the dimensions, somehow you get relaxed? Basically, the reason why that happened is because when we are, why we are relaxed, because usually we kind of need to have a purpose, to have a goal. So what usually happens is that when you realize that there is not purpose, it's like somehow you start to get relaxed. You start to understand that there's no rush, nothing to do. So two things would happen here. Some of you might say, so what's the meaning of everything? What's the goal? And some other of you might say, now I get it. Now I understand the meaning of everything. And it's there when we realize that it's not the things that give a meaning to us, is us giving a meaning to things. Religion, science, spirituality, we all are trying to give a meaning to the thing. And science, religion, spirituality, everyone is trying to look for that meaning without realizing that they are creating that meaning. And they are not only creating a meaning, they are creating the need of a meaning. This is why it doesn't matter in which dimension we are looking for a meaning. Doesn't matter. None of them will be able to give us a meaning. So we don't have other option than creating that meaning by ourselves. And this is a very tough concept for those who we are working in the path of consciousness, of spirituality. So just realize that we had to go through all this path of dimensions in order to understand an answer that if it would have been given at the beginning, it would have been really tough, really hard. The answer of the only thing that exists is the answer, is a question. So the answer that is I am is the ninth dimension. The ninth dimension is the one that says I am. But from where it comes, the ninth dimension? The ninth dimension comes from the zero dimension. That is the question. The question is, am I? So a key to all of this, to understand all of this, is that now when you see to all the religions, the science, the different paths, different ways that we have created to find the answer, all of them, they are not designed to find the I am. They are not designed to look for the right answer. Because all of those paths were designed by the question. And the question is the beginning of everything, not the answer. So here comes this idea that there is no right path. There is no right way. There is no a better way to understand the universe. All of them were created by the question. And it's in that moment when we realize that there is no what for, that there is no who, that there is no to where, that there is no what is the meaning. So now, the reason why it's so hard for us to understand that there is no meaning, no purpose, is because we live through the third dimension and we experience the reality of the universe through the third dimension for so long that we try to put the concepts of the universe according to the third dimension. That's why I say this is right, this is wrong, and this is the meaning, the sense. But when we eliminate the concepts of right and wrong and the meaning, suddenly the people from the third dimension starts to say, what? We are lost. We don't have anything. Where are we? And so suddenly you can realize that in that concept of no dimension, of zero dimension, we were never lost because nothing really exists. We're only one dot in the center. We were never lost. We were always in the center. So another thing that happens to us as mammals is that we need a father and a mother in the cosmos, because we are creation, we are kids. So as a son, as a daughter, we need the father and the mother to guide us, the father to guide us, the mother to protect us, to hold us. So it's really heavy for us to understand that there is no mom and dad. Another thing of us being humans is that we were designed to go ahead. We have two eyes in front, mouth in front, ears in front. We move forward and we leave something behind. We were designed to go ahead, to move. So we go to a destiny, living an origin. And because of that, we cannot understand why the universe doesn't have a beginning and an end. And we are wondering, who started this? Who is going to end it? Why it began? And it's really hard for a human to understand that there is no beginning, no end, that the universe never started and will never end, and nobody did it. So only when we transcend our human reality is when we are able to grasp the idea of what is the void, when we can feel it with each one of our particles. Because for us, it's impossible to feel the void. For humans, void, the vacuum hurts because we were designed to fill up the gaps. Now the question would be, is it necessary to transcend our human reality in order to feel something that we already are? Human is nothing else than other one of those aspects from the void. So now this other concept of we live in the third dimension, willing to transcend into the fourth dimension, into the fifth dimension, into the sixth dimension. In order to kind of change the idea that we have of this race that we are taking in our evolution, what we can do to understand what is to run into another dimension is not to go there, as we all have seen in all this week. Dimensions are not places to go. Dimensions are places, aspects to be. So in order to change your dimension, you don't have to go to a place. You have to become the place. it doesn't call your attention anytime that whenever you are feeling that you are about to transcend into a new reality or another level of consciousness, you kind of go through a transcendental void, existential void. So why existential void? Remember, what means existence? Existence comes from the Latin ex stare. That means to be outside. So something that exists is something that went out of itself, that went outside. So when you stop existing, it means that you went back to the center, to the 0 point. And that's an existential void. So what is transcendence? Transcendence comes from the word trans, that means to go beyond, to transform there, trans. And scendere, that means to move above or to move below. So to transcend is to go beyond the position where you are. That is to move forward, to go farther from where you are. When I am saying to transcend a reality, I am basically leaving a form behind in order to transform in a new form. So when I stop the idea that the universe is about ascending, going up, descending, going down, or transcending, going beyond, I stop moving and being outside. So I stop to exist. And when I don't exist anymore, it means that I'm not moving out. I come back to the center, which is the 0. So why is not the unity the first thing or the core of all things? Because in order to exist the unity, you need a polarity. Unity in its own word is saying two things that become one. So you need ones in order to become one, a polarity that we call alpha and the omega, beginning and the end. So unity is to put the things together as one, but it's not speaking about the real thing. That's why some people now call to that a singularity. In dimension 0, there is nothing to unite. Nothing. There's nothing really in order to be united. So now this is why the whole creation begins 0. That's the auric number. So you have the spiral, like a snail that starts with 0. Everything begins with 0. And from the 0, it goes to 1. And that 1 replicates itself in 1. 1 plus 1, 2. So we have 2. 2 plus the 1 is 3. 3 plus the 2 is 5. 5 plus the 3 is 8. And you continue the sequence. 8, 13, 21, 50, 34, 55, 89, and 144. Why I stop in 144? Because 144, number 12 in the sequence. So 12 rays. Do you remember in the 7th dimension, the 12 rays of creation? So each one of the spirals that is created through time and space would be one of these numbers. This is the sequence. This is the order of the sequence. Okay? So now we have this, that this being from the 0 express first the mind, expands the mind, and then from this point expands the emotion, and then from the 0 point expands the action, the physical one. Spirit, soul, and body, mind, emotion, action. So now, the 0 point, the 0 dimension means eternity. So you can call this the eternal life, the eternal emotion, the eternal light, the eternal path. This is basically eternity. Eternity is in the 0 dimension. And why is that? Because when you speak about beginning and end, I just divided into the eternity. And when I am speaking about eternity, there is no beginning, no end. So what are the beginning and the end? Just concepts taken from the eternity. The 0 is the eternity. The first one is the beginning. The second one is the end. They are concepts of the eternity to understand the eternity. Positive and negative. So beginning and end, origin and purpose are just concepts to understand the entity. So why everything is eternal? Because the only thing that exists is the dimension 0. All the rest are just concepts. So now, as you see, all of this is just a concept, a beginning and the end, the positive and the negative that creates polarity. And polarity creates the depth, so I can experience. Through what? Through the 5 senses. And these 5 senses will be able to experience in 8 directions of time and space. activating my 12 potentials of the I am, the number 13. So my soul is activated in the 21. So my mastery is activated and lived in the 34. So I can transcend all the concepts that I did before. So I can die and set myself free from everything. So I can integrate all the aspects of myself spread in the entire cosmos. So what is 144? 144 is the 144 attributes, aspects that a being has throughout all the dimensions, throughout all the spaces and times. So, for example, this Matthias is one of those 144. So I am one in between 143 aspects of myself more that are around there. But inside of me, I am made of another 144, that they are made inside of them from other 144. Outside, these other 143 around me, they also became like one inside of another groups of 144. And this is eternal, to the side and to the outside is eternity. And each one of these 144 that divides and multiplies once and again is living a new aspect of that previous 144. So we can ask, where is the I am? Here. Well, the I am is the 144 together, as one, all together. In order to be able to feel and communicate with I am, I have to open myself to listen, to receive the information from the other 143, from the 144 that I am. So the only way in which I can connect to the 144 is if I myself, as Matthias, let myself go as a person, so I can recognize that Matthias is just an attribute of the 144 that I am. So now, to try to explain about the attributes, imagine that myself, this body, is a whole. And I have 144 aspects and attributes of myself. Some of them are mental, the other ones are emotional, and the other ones are physical. So I have 144 attributes of myself. So imagine that one of them in the emotional level is happiness. So happiness or joy is an attribute. Imagine that joy means that is the only one that is separated from the other ones, that is alone. Joy will never evolve, will never expand. It will be impossible for joy believing that is one, that is separated from others. The only way that joy will expand in the whole body is if joy recognizes that it is an attribute of a bigger being that is called Matthias. So now take the bigger picture. Matthias here is one attribute of a bigger being that is composed by other 143 plus me. So Matthias is one attribute more of that being. And that's an attribute, being me. The attribute is Matthias, with everything I am, with everything that composes me. I am this attribute, being Matthias, being myself. So when I recognize that I am part of all these other 143, I can connect with my entire being, which in my case, its name is Gan, the one who I am speaking to. Gan has 144 aspects, attributes, from which I am one of them. So it doesn't matter if you know or not how that being is called. The thing is that you know that you are an eternal part of something that is bigger. And don't expect to know where they live, where are they from, how they are. It doesn't matter, really, how the other attributes are. Don't make the same mistake believing that maybe one of them is my twin soul or something like that. Right hand is the twin soul of the left hand. Different parts of one being. So now remember this, when you are open to the 144, not willing to find them, but open to receive them, you will start to connect, to have memory, to remember your past lives, to remember the future lives, to remember realities from other worlds, from this world. And why is that? Because from our point of view of humans, we believe that we have past lives and future lives. Okay, we have that belief because we live linearly in a line the time, but it's not like that. It doesn't work like this. In the entire cosmos, this doesn't matter. So when you start to remember, you're not remembering things from the past. You are remembering, which is put numbers together. The other 144, that some of them lives in the past, some of them lives in the future, some of them lives here, some of them in other planets. So So to connect with the 144 is to connect with all the potentialities of myself. And all of those aren't other thing that concepts being born from the ideas of the eternity of the dimension 0. So this is why, in order to come back to the self, what I have to do is to come back to the 0 point. So in order to be in self, what I have to do is to come back to the 0 point of eternity, of my mind, of my soul, of my emotion, my physical, 0, 0, 0. 144,000 is a code that describes the 0 point of our universal mind, soul, and body. And the only way you can accomplish this is if we start believing in a purpose or an origin. The only way of becoming the everything is being nothing. In the third dimension, we call this detachment of the being. So this is the detachment of the physical, the detachment of the emotional, and the detachment of the beliefs in the mind. So when I was able to go through all these detachments, coming back to the void is where I find that at neutral 0 point, I am able to create. The biggest of the freedoms is in the void, is not in the everything. So now the question would be, how can I download all this such abstract concept to my human life, knowing that I have to keep moving on, that I have to live? Why are we doing all this? Let's go to the mission for today. Law. The statement for today is, I am eternal love. The code for today is feel, to feel. Like a spider can sense the smallest movement in the vibration of a web that was knitted between the branches of a tree, whether it's the softest breeze or the roughest movement of something that trapped by it, the next attribute of the universe is feeling. Every one of those resonance. The energy generated by this movement is called emotion, and its maturation and awareness is called feeling. Remember that I cannot give you an answer, because otherwise it isn't the zero dimension. The zero dimension is the question. Each one of you will have to build its own answer. Sit comfortable, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. I am eternal love. I am eternal love. I am eternal love.